Every yes you say is theft, except you're both the thief and the victim at the same time. Do you want to know how much a single agreement really costs you? And it may cost actually a lot more than you might initially think it does. And I have a bit of a personal story to back that up. Because I was at a sauna with a friend of mine who invited me, and turns out there's going to be another friend of mine, which I wasn't aware of, and it turned out that it was his birthday. So everything goes as usual. We were at the sauna, we were having a grand old time. They were drinking, I was staying sober because that's what I wanted to do because I've had my issues in the past. And we're drinking, well, they're drinking, and we're going to the sauna, bathing in the snow, basically the whole 9 yards. And when I arrived, I did tell them at the very start that I had to leave at a certain amount of time because my girlfriend was waiting for me at home. I had to walk the dog, etc., etc. And when that time came, they started really pushing me to go and drive them to get some of the Mary Jane or the devil's lettuce, call whatever you want to call it. But as I mentioned earlier at the start, I was, in my sobriety. And I really didn't want to go because I didn't want to have any kind of recalling of the previous issues that I've ever had. And they were really pushy because they were, well, obviously drunk. But I really wanted to not do it because, for obvious reasons, I don't want to get back to the place where I was earlier, right? But at that time, it's kind of hard to say no because there's multiple people pushing on you, but you know that you should say no. But the world is basically against you and you don't know what to do. Should you say yes to please them or should you say no because you believe in certain things? And such situations happen in everyday life. That was a very specific one, but I'm sure that you can relate to any of those kind of issues. Like for instance, a coworker asking to stay a bit late to help you, to help them with their specific tasks maybe. Or, an old friend of yours asking you to go out drinking with them today, even though you know that you have things you have to do that day. But it's really hard to say no because you don't want to disappoint those people. You don't want to seem like the odd one out, and you want to be just like society would want you to be, I guess, to be with the whole group and go with them, even though you know that you really shouldn't. Do you recognize yourself in any of those statements before? And chances are that you do, because those are very common issues, because that just happens in everyday life. Some people who are your friends, who are maybe not your best friends, they try to tempt you to do the wrong things and maybe go out drinking, I don't know, go out for a smoke. When you tell them you have stuff to do, you have responsibilities, they try to tell you that you really shouldn't be doing them, instead you should be going with them. Or perhaps you have a thing at work where a coworker or your boss maybe asks you to stay late, even though you know that you have, you got to go back to your home, you have responsibilities. And that just happens every single day. And you may not even be aware of it if you haven't really thought about it more deeply. And that's something that you should really consider the next time you're being asked for something, is the hidden cost of saying yes. The consequences of you always saying yes is that it costs you time. Imagine all the time that you could have spent instead of going out drinking, going out for a smoke, going out partying, maybe working on some odd job that you really shouldn't, you have no reason to work. All of that time that could be spent doing more better things for your own life, for your own family. I don't know, spending time with your kids, spending time with your wife or girlfriend, calling your mom or dad, or etc. All of that time that you could have used for that, you lost by agreeing to things that you shouldn't really have agreed to in the first place. And also imagine all of that energy that you could have used for different things, all of that energy that you spent going out drinking, all of that energy that you spent communicating with people that you have no reason to communicate with at that time, or perhaps working on some work project that you should have worked during your work hours instead of working on it while you are on your free time. All of that energy could have been spent with meeting your family, talking to them, doing any of your hobbies that would really benefit your mental health, for instance. And there's just so many other things that you could do instead of doing things that you really shouldn't do. And all of that is of a result of you saying yes when you really shouldn't have. Not to mention all the opportunities you could have possibly missed. Like for instance, so if instead of working on something that you really shouldn't have. You could have done something that actually benefited you instead of doing something that has nothing to do with your own personal growth or any of your future prospects. Your day is a wallet full of 24-hour bills, basically 24 bills worth 1 hour each. And every time you say yes to something you shouldn't have, you lose one of those bills. And when you think about it that way, you have to, well, I guess you kind of have to really rethink how you spend your day in order to actually progress as a human being. Circling back to the story that I mentioned at the very start, where I was at the sauna with my friends and where they really wanted me to go and drive them to get some of the devil's lettuce, etc. Even though I told them many times that I've had issues with that in the past, I don't want to be anywhere near that. I don't even want to think about it. They were really adamant on me actually getting in a car and driving them, even though I told them, first of all, I don't want to do it. And second of all, that I have my girlfriend waiting for me at home, and she would be very disappointed if I do not get there on time as I agreed to. And in the end, I stayed on my path. I told them, no, I'm not going to do it. And they started to get aggressive, which was a bit of a, I guess it was a bit scary because one of them was a kickboxer, but I know there was nothing of such sort that was going to happen. But in the end, basically, I stood by my thing that I wanted to do, and well, basically what I didn't want to do. And as a result, I've realized who they really are, that they weren't really my friends, as I thought at the beginning, and that I stood by my values. So as a result, I just went home, I ignored any of their threats and pleas, I guess you could say. And in the end, I realized that I don't want to spend time with such people in the future because that's just not who I want to be as I grow up. And staying in such friend circles as you're trying to progress on your life and your personal growth, it's just not really productive. So as a result, I talked to him tomorrow. I told him, yeah, I didn't like that. That was really bad, that you know it was bad. And I just don't want to continue communicating in the future. And I just made a choice. I said that I'm going to stay by my values and I'm not going to stoop down to whatever it is that they want to do that I don't want to do. And as a result, I've come out better. And I think that you also have many stories like that you can relate to, where maybe you said yes when you really shouldn't have, or even better, you said no when you should have. And that leads to personal growth and character growth. And if you are in that second camp, I'm really proud of you, and you should keep thinking about it critically in the future as you go on. So that was my story, but how about we talk how you can actually work on it and start not agreeing to things that you shouldn't really agree to. And the first part would be the pause rule, that perhaps you shouldn't answer immediately. Let's say that you have a request coming your way that you know you shouldn't do, you don't want to do, you know that it interferes with your plans. Instead of letting them down harshly, how about you say that I'm going to think about it, I'm going to get back to you later, etc. Instead of having to give your answer on the spot, you talk to him and tell him that, yeah, you're going to check your schedule, you're going to check whether or not you actually have time for it, whether or not you want to do it, I guess. And then you'll let him know later. And in that way, you are not you're getting away from that confrontational aspect of this whole interaction, and then you can tell them later that perhaps you don't have time or don't want to do it or any other reason, if you actually think that it's not going to be good for you in the long term. And the second tool would be the price of agreement, where I want you to really think, what is it going to cost you to actually agree to this thing? Let's say going out drinking. So what would the costs be? Instead of working on your projects, working on your passions, working on your hobbies, spending time with your family, or doing anything else that actually benefits you, you're going to be spending that time going out drinking, smoking, doing whatever, right? So whenever you have an option coming your way like this, I want you to really think about it. What is the price of you saying yes? And once you're able to visualize it, you're going to have a way easier time of actually deciding whether or not this is something you want to agree to or not. And the third tool that I was going to mention is that you should learn to say a soft no. So as I mentioned earlier before, instead of just saying no, go away from me with such requests, etc. Right? You have to learn to say no in a more polite and soft manner. And if you're having trouble thinking of ways to do it on your own, you can check our Telegram link in the description, our Telegram group, where we will compile a document of 10 ways to say no in a softer way, not to offend people and not to be rude or mean to anybody else that you might value as a friend or love, etc. So if you are looking for ways to do that, check out our Telegram group in the description. It's going to be free of charge. You can just join and check it out, that we're going to be posting there. But this is a whole bigger thing. This is something that you really need to think about yourself, whether or not you have been saying yes in times that you really shouldn't have. But I just want you to think about this. Say yes to this video, your life won't really change. Say yes to this video, your life won't change. But say yes to yourself, and everything will be way different.